In this video, I'm going to teach you how I defeat negative self-talk every single time with just 3 words. And I learnt this many years ago when I was a teenager from my mate Colin. So when I was a kid and when I was a teenager, all the way up into my late 20s, I used to be madly, passionately, deeply in love with martial arts. So I used to train in Thai boxing, I used to train in Taekwondo. I eventually became an instructor in Wing Chun. And my mate at the time was a guy called Colin. Now Colin was a brick shithouse and he had the kind of eyes of a dead shark. So when he looked at you, you would shit yourself. This guy was as hard as nails. And he used to work the nightclubs in Birmingham. He used to work the doors, as they used to say. Now back in the late 80s and the early 90s when he used to work the doors, they were incredibly rough and dangerous places to work. People would try to smuggle in samurai swords in their trench coats. People would literally come back if they'd been thrown out of a nightclub with 12-bore rifles or whatever you call them, and they would take aim at the security guards. It was, for all intents and purposes, fucking madness. Now, Colin worked those doors when he had a young family, so he had 2 young children and a wife and a mortgage and a dog. So he had a lot to lose every single night he went to protect people on the doors, to protect innocent people within those nightclubs. And I did say to him, how do you psychologically handle that amount of pressure when you're in those kind of dangerous situations where you could lose literally your life? And he said he has 3 words that he uses to silence any negative head chatter that could make him lose his focus, lose his cool, or lose his fucking legs. And he says those 3 words were this: I'll handle it. So he said, well, if ever that head chatter came up and said, what if they've got a rifle? He used to say to himself, I'll handle it. What if they take out my legs? I'll handle it. What if they jump me as I'm getting in my car after I've left the nightclub? I'll handle it. What if they find out where I live? I'll handle it. It's a very powerful way to deal with negative head chatter. All of these years later, I still use that. When my brain says, what if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? What if this fucks up? What if that fucks up? I say to myself, very calmly, but very, definitely, I'll handle it. And that head chatter disappears. Give it a go. And thank you, Colin.